In this episode, why 1953 is the perfect year to model the Northern Pacific Railway. This is why I chose 1953 as the year I modeled the Northern Pacific Railway. By the early 1950s, American railroading was undergoing significant change. The post-war economy was strong, traffic levels were high, and railroads were under pressure to modernize. In 1953, the Northern Pacific had not yet completed its transition from steam to diesel. Steam locomotives remained common, while diesel locomotives were appearing in increasing numbers. Both operated at the same time across the same territory. Freight car fleets in 1953 reflected decades of railroad investment and use. Large numbers of wooden cars and early steel cars, many built in the 1920s or earlier, remained in service. These cars operated alongside newer all-steel designs. As a result, a single freight train included cars of widely different ages, construction methods, and appearances. Cars from many railroads appearing together in interchange service. AAR boxcars and Pullman Standard PS1 boxcars represented modern construction practices and emerging national standards. Older and newer equipment operated together as part of everyday freight service. Passenger service on the Northern Pacific in 1953 still relied heavily on heavyweight equipment. Heavyweight passenger cars remained common, particularly on secondary and regional trains. These cars had been built in large numbers before and during World War II and remained serviceable. Lightweight equipment was entering service, but the transition was incomplete. Heavyweight cars could still be found even on premier trains, such as the North Coast Limited. Both types of equipment operated together during this period. Mechanical and visual details help place railroad equipment in time. In 1953, some freight cars still used older KC brake systems, while AB brakes were standard on newer equipment. Both systems could be found in regular service. Lettering and heralds also varied. On the Northern Pacific, Monad heralds appeared in multiple sizes, including 36-inch, 48-inch, and 60-inch versions. The slogan "Main Street of the Northwest" had been applied to some equipment, but not universally. Consistency across the fleet had yet been achieved. Variation was typical. In 1953, steam locomotives were still a routine part of everyday operations on the Northern Pacific. Distribution of power files list locomotive assignments by division and by year and month. On the Yellowstone Division in October 1953, the numbers tell the story. There were 98 locomotives assigned to the division. Only 18 of them were diesels. 6 of those diesels were switchers, yard power terminal engines, built to sort cars and hold down assignments steam had handled for generations. The remaining 12 diesels were road power, and every one of them worked in 4-unit F-unit sets. F3s and F7s coupled together as a single machine. Most freights, most locals, helpers, extras, and switching, the everyday work that filled the timetable was overwhelmingly steam powered. You could see a 4 unit F locomotive roll past a coal dock that was still busy servicing a steam engine. You could watch a new diesel consist tie up at a terminal designed entirely around steam. Old infrastructure and new power sharing the same space. That's why 1953 works. When you model this year, steam power was still a daily reality on the Northern Pacific. Railroad operations in 1953 were shaped by events at regional, national, and global levels. Regionally, the Northern Plains remained heavily dependent on rail transportation. Agriculture dominated freight traffic across Montana and North Dakota, with grain, livestock, and agricultural supplies moving seasonally. Coal shipments from Montana mines continued to support regional industry and railroad operations. Oil development in eastern Montana and western North Dakota was expanding, increasing inbound movements of drilling equipment and pipe. The completion of the Garrison Dam project in North Dakota on the Missouri River in 1953 marked a major regional milestone, including years of heavy construction traffic and reshaping regional development. Small towns and rural industries continued to rely on scheduled local and branch line service. Nationally, the United States economy remains strong. The Korean War armistice, signed in July, ended active combat but did not immediately reduce military freight or logistics traffic. Railroads handled large volumes of industrial goods while facing growing competition from highways and pipelines. Dieselization continued as railroads sought greater efficiency and lower operating costs. From a modeling standpoint, 1953 offers exceptional flexibility while remaining historically accurate. Steam locomotives and first generation diesels both fit the period. Older freight cars and new standardized designs operate together. Wood and steel construction are equally appropriate. Passenger trains may include heavyweight or lightweight equipment. Local and branch line service remain active and scheduled. This variety reflects actual railroad practices in 1953. Steam power remained common, while modernization was clearly underway. Both were part of normal operations. That balance makes 1953 a practical, flexible, and historically grounded year to model the Northern Pacific Railway.